Prince Augustus Frederick, Duke of Sussex, KT GMB PRS FRSA, was the sixth son and ninth child of George III of the United Kingdom and his consort, Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz. He was the only surviving son of George III who did not pursue an army or naval career. Biography. Early life. Augustus Frederick was born at Buckingham House, London. He was the ninth child and sixth son of George III and Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz. He was christened in the Great Council Chamber at St. James's Palace on the 25th of February 1773 by Archbishop of Canterbury Frederick Cornwallis. His godparents were the Duke of Saxe-Gotha-Altenburg, Duke George Augustus of Mecklenburg and Princess Charles of Hesse-Kassel. He was tutored at home before being sent to the University of Göttingen in Germany in the summer of 1786. Along with his brothers Prince Ernest and Prince Adolphus. Prince Augustus, who suffered from asthma, did not join his brothers in receiving military training in Hanover. He briefly considered becoming a cleric in the Church of England. First marriage. While travelling in Italy, he met Lady Augusta Murray, the second daughter of 4th Earl of Dunmore. The couple secretly married in Rome on the 4th of April 1793. The King's Minister of Hanover Affairs Ernst zu Münster was sent to Italy to escort him back to London. The couple married again without revealing the full identities at St. George's, Hanover Square, London, on the 5th of December 1793. Both marriages took place without the knowledge or the consent of the king. In August 1794, the Prerogative Court annulled the marriage on the grounds that it contravened the Royal Marriages Act 1772 because it had not been approved by the king. Prince Augustus continued to live with Lady Augusta until 1801, when he received a parliamentary grant of £12,000 and the couple separated. Lady Augusta retained custody of the children and received maintenance of £4,000 a year. The two children were named Augustus Frederick d'Este and Ellen Augusta Emma Mademoiselle d'Este, both parents being descended from the royal house of Este. In 1806, the mother, Lady Augusta, was given royal license to use the surname de Ameland instead of Murray, Duke of Sussex and Knight of the Garter. The king created him Duke of Sussex, Earl of Inverness, and Baron Arklow in the Peerage of the United Kingdom and a Knight of the Garter on the 27th of November 1801. Since he had no legitimate issue, the title became extinct on his death in 1843. In 1815 the Duke became a patron of the Jews' Hospital and Orphan Asylum, later to become the charity known today as Norwood. Royal patronage continued, with Queen Elizabeth II eventually becoming Norwood's patron. Mistresses. A known mistress is Mrs. Bugger. Sir William Dillon recorded in his diary they were both present with him at a party held by Emma Hamilton where she rented tableware for the meal, but neglected to rent a carving knife, creating great difficulty in serving the Christmas dinner to her guests. United Grand Lodge of England. In January 1813, Prince Augustus Frederick became headmaster of the Premier Head Lodge of England, and in December of that year his brother, Prince Edward Augustus, Duke of Kent and Strathearn, became headmaster of the Antient Grand Lodge of England. On the 27th of December 1813 the United Grand Lodge of England was constituted at Freemasons' Hall, London, with Prince Augustus as Grand Master. George Oliver's Signs and Symbols Illustrated and Explained in a course of 12 lectures on Freemasonry was dedicated to Prince Augustus Frederick, Duke of Sussex. Second marriage. The Duke of Sussex married a second time on the 2nd of May 1831 to Lady Cecilia Letitia Buggan, the eldest daughter of Arthur Gore, 2nd Earl of Arran and Elizabeth Underwood, and the widow of Sir George Buggan. Even allowing for the irregularity of these marriages, this second marriage would not have been bigamous since Lady Augusta de Ameland had died the year before. On the same day, Lady Cecilia assumed by royal license the surname Underwood. She was never titled or recognized as the Duchess of Sussex. However, she was created Duchess of Inverness in her own right in 1840. Later life, William IV appointed his younger brother Chief Ranger and Keeper of St. James's and Hyde Parks on 29 January 1831. The Duke of Sussex was elected President of the Society of Arts in 1816 and held that post for the rest of his life. He also held the honorary posts of Captain General and Colonel of the Hon. Artillery Company from 1817 onward. He was president of the Royal Society between 1830 and 1838, and had a keen interest in biblical studies and Hebrew. His personal library contained over 50,000 theological manuscripts, some in Hebrew. In 1838, he introduced in a meeting scientist John Herschel, and the Duke gave a speech in which he spoke about the compatibility of science and religion. In making these remarks I am not presumptuous, but allow me to say that attached as I am to science, attached as I am to religion, I am satisfied that the real philosopher is the most religious man, and it is in looking to the operations in nature that the finger of the Almighty leads us to the lesson. The Duke of Sussex was the favourite uncle of Queen Victoria. He gave her away at her wedding to Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. The Duke of Sussex died at Kensington Palace in 1843. In his will he specified that he was not to have a state funeral and was accordingly buried at Kensal Green Cemetery on 5 May 1843. He is buried in front of the main chapel, immediately opposite the tomb of his sister, Princess Sophia. The Duchess of Inverness continued to reside at Kensington Palace until her death in 1873. She was buried next to her second husband. Titles, Styles, Honours and Arms. Titles and Styles, the 27th of January 1773 to 27 November 1801. His Royal Highness the Prince Augustus Frederick, the 27th of November 1801 to 21 April 1843. His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex. Honours Grand Master of the Premier Lodge of England 1813, Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of England 1813 to 1843, Knight of the Order of the Thistle, Knight of the Order of the Garter 1786. Arms. As a son of the sovereign, the Duke of Sussex had use of the arms of the kingdom, differenced by a label argent of 3 points, the centre point bearing 2 hearts gules, the outer points each bearing a cross gules. Issue. Ancestors.